Hello and welcome to this next Flip Preaching video. My name is Andy. In these videos we look at the passage from the Gospels, which will probably be used in church on Sunday, if I have anything to do with it, and we think about it beforehand so that we can be prepared for when we come across it in a sermon. So today's passage, following on, well, it doesn't follow on actually, it's in Mark's Gospel, but this is the period, the Sunday before Lent starts, and traditionally we always have the story of the Transfiguration before Lent. So we're jumping ahead actually in Mark to kind of halfway through, actually near the end. Mark 9, 2-9, the story of the Transfiguration. There is a sheet which has got the text on and some other passages from the surrounding scriptures which I think shed a bit of extra insight into this. So let's go. It's a very strange encounter that Jesus invites Peter, James and John to. So they go up a mountain and they're by themselves. It's very important that this is just them, and they're told at the end not to tell anyone what they saw. And astonishingly, it says that Jesus was transfigured before them, was changed. He suddenly appeared different. It says his clothes became dazzling white. And Mark spends quite a lot of time elaborating on that. It says, such as no one on earth could bleach them. So there was something supernatural going on here. Jesus' clothes suddenly became shining white. And then appearing with Jesus were Elijah and Moses. And Peter says to Jesus, Rabbi, it's good for us to be here. Let's make 3 dwellings, one for each of you. And that was the wrong thing to say. It was quite a nice offer, but it was the wrong thing to say. Then a cloud came, overshadowed them. A voice from the cloud said, "This is my son, the beloved, listen to him." And then they were left with only Jesus. So what does all this mean? Okay, firstly, it's worth knowing that white clothes were a symbol of the afterlife. In the book of Revelation 3, it says that the good people in Sardis will walk with me dressed in white, for they are worthy. When someone was baptized, they went into the water and they were given white garments when they came out to symbolize this new life. So the fact that Jesus appears in white is a kind of glimpse into the future. And it's a future that is ours. We get to have these shiny white clothes too. The transfiguration will come our way. Jesus is, as he always does, is showing what's going to happen in the future here. It's very reminiscent of a couple of passages in Exodus. In Exodus 24, the Lord says to Moses, "Come with me up a mountain." He goes up the mountain, and it says there was a cloud covered the mountains. We got the cloud thing there. And when he came down again in Exodus 34, it says Moses did not know that the skin of his face shone because he'd been talking with God. So the idea of glowing and being on a mountaintop is very much reminiscent of the Exodus story, which is probably why Moses has been drawn into the story here. In 2 Corinthians 3, again, the sense that we humans, mere mortals, it says we will be transformed into the same image from one degree of glory to another. We will be changed into God's likeness through this life and continuing into the next one. I think the pace will accelerate once we die, but we will be changed and transformed into the likeness of God, just like Moses reflected. His face shone because he had met God. That will be us too. We will shine and be holy. So all of this is wrapped up in this story, that it's a glimpse of Jesus's future. This happens just before the entry into Jerusalem and the Passion story and Jesus' death. So before that happens, the disciples are given a glimpse of what's going to happen afterwards. It will turn out okay. It'll be all right in the end. So what about Peter's offer to build 3 shelters? it makes it clear that he was in the wrong. It says he didn't know what to say, for he was terrified. I think, personally, that the thing that was wrong was that Peter was jumping ahead too far. This was a glimpse of the future where everything has been sorted out, and it hasn't been sorted out yet. This was a glimpse of the eternal rest in the future. This is the heavenly life. He got a glimpse of what it was going to be like, and he wanted to be in it now. But it wasn't the time. It will be, but it isn't the time just yet. When the cloud came and everything kind of reset to normal, he was left with just Jesus, as if that's not all we need. And God said from the cloud, listen to him. So for the moment, we're not in the white, shiny clothes stage. I mean, you can wear white, shiny clothes, but you won't get the proper white, shiny clothes until time has passed, because everything is not right with the world just yet. We need to work to fix it. We need to help the saving work of God, cleaning up and restoring and redeeming this world. And that's why we need to listen to what Jesus said. We need to pay attention to his words and his actions, so that we, in the midst of the mess of the world, in the midst of the everyday, we don't miss the saving good news that Jesus is at work, restoring, healing, loving, bringing people back to him, so that one day everyone will be there wearing white, restored, and everything. One day we will get to rest in these tents, but just not quite yet. It's not quite yet the time to rest. So, some questions. Firstly, do we get transformed in the same way Jesus was? Do we get transfigured? And if so, when? 2, what do you think was wrong with Peter's offer to make the tents? 3, why is listening to Jesus singled out in this passage as being the important thing to do? And finally, 4th, how is this good news today? Okay, that's enough for now. We'll see you next week. Thank you so much for being with me. I hope that's been useful. Okay, bye-bye.